Record 7-time champions India steamrolled Pakistan in their opening Super 4 stage clash at the Asia Cup, but were tested to their limits by Sri Lanka yesterday. And it was the bowlers led by Kuldeep Yadav who came out on top and defended a target of 223 runs to book a spot in the final. Can India win the Asia Cup? That's what we are going to discuss in this live. Hello and welcome to WION World of Sport Extra. I am Nikhil Mathur, and as always, I am joined by my sports writer Digvijay Singh Deo and by my colleague Vidur Kathuria.
Hi.
We have to start talking about Kuldeep Yadav. 9 wickets, 2 matches. Can he be the trump card for India at the World Cup?
I think he is. I think you look at the way he was discarded after the last World Cup. But then he found a way back, right? They persisted with him, they got him back, there were changes done. He worked with, I don't know what he did, but they got him back into the team knowing that's either him or Chahal, Yuzvendra Chahal. Both sort of wrist spinners, one right-handed, one left-handed. And the Indian management obviously went with Yadav. And I've always said, right from the time when this Asia Cup team was picked, or even the World Cup team we've been chatting, that he is an X-factor. A Chinaman always goes for runs. But you remember Brad Hogg always went for runs. You remember Michael Bevan going for runs. Paul Adams going for runs, but they got wickets. What we are seeing from Kuldeep in both the Pakistan game and this one is that he's been able to dry up the runs, which is an extra sort of boost for India.
Yeah.
That not just is he getting wickets by the bucketful, he's also, just look at the way he got that last ball out, last batter out, floated it up. Yeah. You think it's there to be hit, and then suddenly it goes. So I think that is what makes him, in this tournament, he's India's best bowler, without a doubt. The 2 games that have mattered, he's delivered.
Yeah.
The 2 games that mattered, I'm not talking about the Nepal game, that doesn't matter to me. But the question, can India win the Asia Cup? I think we've seen 2 contrasting performances from the Indian team, but the bowling is delivered on both occasions.
Yeah.
Against Pakistan, they got them out for 128 or whatever. This game, 170 odd.
Yeah.
And the bowlers were not under pressure in the Pakistan game. They were under pressure in this game because the score was 213. And I always say, when you deliver under pressure, it always it goes back, right? You remember that we could defend it. That belief is there. In a World Cup, suppose India bowled out in Dharamshala, ball swinging a lot, whatever happens, India bowled out for 240 odd. They'll back themselves saying, oh, you know what, we just did this last month.
Yeah.
That's important.
And Vidur, it's a well-rounded bowling attack. The Sri Lankan spinners picked up all the 10 wickets of India, but the pacers, Bumrah gave a brilliant start. So I think this is India's probably the best bowling lineup in recent times.
Oh, well, that's another conversation altogether. But yes, I agree with you that the bowlers, every bowler did his job yesterday against the match. And Kuldeep Yadav, as Digvijay pointed out, 2 very different situations of an ODI. First against Pakistan, where we're defending a huge, comfortable target, 357. But the pressure was really on them, 213, not much to work with. But the way they performed and the way Kuldeep Yadav stepped up for the 2nd day in a row. By the way, these are not just nine wickets in two matches. It's 9 wickets in 2 days. Yeah. So essentially, as it's a test match. And the entire onus was on the bowlers to put up a performance. And also, this is great heading into the World Cup because India have now won 2 matches and they're in completely different circumstances. First, the onus was the pressure was on the batters because they hadn't done well in the previous match against Pakistan. They performed, and then the bowlers did their job. Then against Sri Lanka, the batters couldn't perform, and we'll cut them some slack. It was a second match and second day, less than 24 hours they're playing. Okay, but the bowlers needed to step up, and they did. So till now, the Asia Cup, India have ticked a lot of boxes. So far, only positives. But yes, there is still time. The Asia Cup is not over. India now need to win that trophy to give themselves another boost heading into that World Cup.
But when everything looks okay, then the batting collapses. What do you have to say about that? You were the one trending last evening with your post Indian innings show. I wasn't there. He was there.
Yeah, well. As I said, I think they're allowed a day off. especially when you take the pitch like 3 days in a row.
My problem with that, Vidur, is I'm okay with having a day off.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with being 80 for no loss and then 186
190,
for 9.
yeah,
186 for 9.
Yeah, 80 for no loss, 190 for 9, and you know those extra
27 runs.
Akshar Patel.
And I've always said he's a better batter.
Yeah.
Those extra 27 runs meant, hang on, and it's not random ranting. 172 is what they got. Now imagine they 172 for 8 or 9 as they were at that stage when that last 2 wickets fell, and India have got 186. Then will Rohit Sharma be able to attack? The moment Dhananjay De Silva got out, 2 slips, one-day match. 2 slips, he attacked because we all sort of felt that was the partnership to break, right? There was a point when he hit that 6 of, was it Jadeja or was it Kuldeep? He hit him for 6 over there. Well, Lage hit a big 6. And you should have seen the reaction of Kuldeep, wondering, wow, good shot. And the Indians also knew that this kid is special. Yeah. He can take the game away from us. So that's why I'm saying those 20 odd runs post that rain interruption, Vidur.
Absolutely.
In a way, Xtra didn't have a great game with the ball.
Yeah.
But those 27 runs, in fact, almost won the game for India, I think. You got to look at
It
smaller
probably did.
windows,
It probably did. Because Lage and De Silva both were hitting the ball very well.
And when De Silva got out, suppose India were 180 all out.
Yeah.
At that point, 186 all out, when the 9th wicket fell. Would he have attempted that shot still knowing that there were 45, 50 runs to get at that stage?
India won, on paper, India won by what, 41 runs?
Yeah.
But that doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah, it was a close match. Yeah, it was a close match.
A completely different game. But I'm
glad when those two were batting, when that 6 went, you were thinking,
Sri
what?
Lanka,
Sri Lanka win this.
And the fans, the way they were cheering. I mean, there were so many fans. I mean, India.
It felt like an away game for India for the first time. Otherwise, it was India, but that time it was Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And you rightly pointed out, I was disappointed with Xtra Patel's bowling. When Jadeja was getting the ball to turn, Kuldeep was having a good day. Xtra Patel bowled just flat, and he leaked runs as well. And I think
5 overs for 29.
Yeah, I mean, in those circumstances, he did. And he has become a better batter, but his bowling has sadly gone down.
But has he been consistently given the ball?
No, of course. He hasn't.
He was
not been
returning
giving
after a long time.
You're forgetting the Indian bowlers were rusty as well in that Nepal game.
Yeah. But when there's tough competition for a spot, I think Jadeja every day will.
No,
and Shardul also.
I don't
but
think
he proved himself as a batter.
No, hang on.
Shardul,
I don't think Jadeja is the comparison.
Shardul, I think.
It's either Shardul or Kuldeep.
I mean,
Kuldeep, with for Xtra to play.
But Kuldeep has cemented his spot in the 11. I mean,
I think depending on the condition, they will pick between Shardul Thakur or an Xtra Patel if it's spinning.
And sorry,
continue.
Okay, I'm glad everyone mentioned Lage. We have to speak about him. And as
we'll get to Lage. Let's finish off the India thing. Bumrah. I think Bumrah's there.
Yeah.
I think he's ready for the World Cup.
Well, yeah, I mean, both against Pakistan, he was very impressive. And once again, he really got the ball to talk against Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka were under constant pressure in the first 10 overs.
But Vidur, what I liked about Bumrah is, even in the Pakistan game, he's come back from injury, right? Yeah. When a bowler comes back from injury, they're sort of trying to take it a bit lightly, ease themselves into a tournament. But he's gone for it. He obviously has waited so long, but he's come back fully fit. He's not been rushed back. I think they made the mistake last time when they tried to rush him back for the T20 World Cup. He's come back completely fit, and you can see he's put in those hard yards in those mock sessions that he's had at the NCA. And the way he's bowling, he's not rusty. It looks like he's had at least a month of at least serious bowling, serious bowling at serious batters.
Yeah. I think, credit now has to be given to the Indian team management as well. We've always, questioned them in terms of the injury management.
There were a lot of memes and pressure on BCCI.
You have to give them credit because Bumrah's injury, you can say, has been managed very well now. And as Digvijay said, he doesn't look resty. It's like he's been waiting for this opportunity. Players, when they come in, they're a little tentative. They don't know exactly how much madness this or how hard they should go in a match, in a tournament match at the Asia Cup. But Bumrah, it seems like he knows exactly what he has to do. There's almost a coolness, a calmness. He's cold. He's cold-blooded, as you go. So he's got everything sorted as of now, and then of course heading into that World Cup.
We're also live on YouTube and Facebook as things stand. Lots of comments coming in. We're going to read out all of them. We'll react to that. Amandeep says, earlier I thought India will not win the Asia Cup, but it was a close deal. Harish asks, Kohli played well against Pakistan, got out on 3 against Sri Lanka. What's your take? Come on, Nikhil, take this. Take the googly.
I mean, it's all right. You've just scored a century. You're allowed, as Vidur said, you're allowed one off day. I think Kohli is in good form. I think he has, that after that knock against Pakistan in that World Cup, I think Kohli is slowly coming back to his own. So I think you are allowed a one off day.
And like all good, and let's face it, when Rohit Sharma won the toss, he said the pitch is going to be dry. And now let's talk about Velalage. The first 3 wickets that he took to get Sri Lanka back in the game were Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma.
And also the other 2 also were
Hardik
Pandya
and Rahul.
So top 5 wickets. Yeah. 5-wicket haul of...
Probably India's most dangerous batters, you would say, or arguably, and he got them. And the first wicket of Shubman Gill, that delivery, that was a peach of a delivery. It was some ball. We say unplayable balls, we usually call them. I think that was almost an unplayable ball. And
great tradition in Sri Lanka, the left arm spinner.
Yes.
Herat.
Yes.
And who else? Many of them, yeah.
Even Sanath Jayasuriya.
Sanath Jayasuriya, the spinner. Yeah. Well, he could bowl.
Listen, Jayasuriya has got more than 250 wickets. Hang on. He's He actually, the great Sanath Jayasuriya, who we think of as a batter, broke into the Lankan team actually as a bowler who could bat.
Batting all-rounder.
No, bowling all-rounder.
Bowling
all-rounder. Batted 7 and 8. Then became one of the most destructive openers of all time.
Like Steve Smith.
Yeah, a lot of Steve Smith.
Leg spinner.
Yeah.
Steve Smith played 11 World Cup as a leg spinner.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the heir of Shane Warne, and he became the heir of Don Bradman.
Shekhar says Kuldeep was the star player against Sri Lanka. Okay. Not denying that by any means.
Agree. Yeah.
But how crucial, and this is, I'm going to take it off from what Candor says. I think the partnership between KL and Ishan was the better part of the Indian innings, especially KL's 39 or 44. Rohit and Gill faced pace for the first 10 overs, whereas Kishan and KL faced spin, which was hard for everyone.
Good point.
Is this answering the questions ahead of the World Cup? Is this now, do you feel it's now given 4 and 5 are locked?
Absolutely. I believe so.
I would disagree, because what I saw with Ishan Kishan is, what my problem with him is, he cannot rotate the strike. Yesterday also, he took a lot of deliveries and the pressure built. With KL, he was trying to negate the ball, he was looking for those singles. But with Ishan Kishan, either he will defend or either will go for the big ones. So my problem with him is, again, he cannot rotate the strike. And in a situation like that, it was good that KL was rotating the strike, but Ishan couldn't, and that's the problem with the middle order. With the Shreyas Iyer, he can rotate the strike, he can hit those. So that's my only problem with Kuldeep. If you're with Ishan Kishan, if you're playing him in the middle order at number 4 or number 5, he cannot rotate the strike, and that
But he did against Pakistan.
Because that was a different situation. I think he had no option but to, he went with the mindset of counter-attacking.
No, but yesterday, at this stage, the stage where India were, they lost 3. What did they do then? They had to bat it out, right? Again, I'm saying the good start which Rohit and Shubman gave that middle order a bit of time to sort of sit back and absorb. And I think that is crucial. Against Pakistan, I'm telling you, I'm going back to that conversation we had yesterday. Against Pakistan, great centuries, but for me, the win was set up on Sunday by that opening pair.
That's true, but I still feel Shreyas Iyer is a better bet than Ishan Kishan on that position.
See, I don't think there will be many situations. Now, obviously, the situation came up, but I don't think there will be many situations. Like KL Rahul was rotating the strike. So Ishan Kishan was playing sort of the opposite way to KL Rahul. I think if in that situation, you don't need both players to play the same way. That maybe.
No, but hang on. You're talking about Ishan Kishan. What was Virat Kohli doing in that first 40 balls? Let's go back to the Pakistan game. He was struggling. And he himself said, I was struggling. And KL was going very well, so I fed him the strike. Isn't that how a partnership is built? One person farms the strike, or get the guy who's scoring runs, who's seeing it easier. I mean, so why take it out on Ishan Kishan and not take it on Virat Kohli? Because Virat went on and got 100.
Because there's a difference between the pedigree of Ishan Kishan and Virat Kohli for the simple. But I think when
it's a bit unfair, like only saying Virat Kohli every time.
No.
There's a ball goes somewhere else and we only say Virat Kohli on screen.
I don't want to be disrespectful to Ishan Kishan, but I think I still feel Shreyas Iyer is a better bet than.
Ter says Kuldeep Yadav was India's best player against Sri Lanka. Jacob says, I think the pitch was in favour of India and not Lanka. Well, it's their tournament.
Yeah, it's their tournament.
No, this is for them.
Co-host,
Yeah.
But it's always been like that.
Yeah.
In Sri Lanka, you always get these wickets.
Yeah.
In fact, just go back 15 years when you guys were probably in school, and Murli and Ajanta, then Mendes used to run through the Indian attack like
Ajanta
this.
Mendes,
What this young boy Venerage did.
Ajanta Mendes came to the fore at one of the Asia Cups.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
The mystery spinner. He was a kryptonite for the Indian batting lineup.
Yeah.
Bamboozled Sehwag.
Vishnukant Chaturvedi is listening to us. Vishnukant Chaturvedi official says, what do you think about Rohit Sharma?
He scored a half century.
I think he got a very bad delivery that didn't bounce much. Otherwise, he was looking in good form. He was looking for 100, but I think he was just unlucky. The ball didn't bounce that much and lack of.
So, do you feel, again, Vishnukant writes again, do you feel Rohit is getting to his peak game by game? Will he get that peak in the World Cup? I think so. I think the good thing about the Indian batters is now, I have no sort of, the way I look at it, I don't care if Rohit doesn't get runs or Virat doesn't get runs. These are class batters. Shubman Gill is there as well. In, say, 9 games in a World Cup, they're not going to score, say, perhaps they're due the rare failure in, say, 4 games. But the other 5 games, they will score the runs. Then it depends on how the team plays around them. Like in this case, yes, Rohit Sharma did get the runs, but his team collapsed around him. The fact they got to 213, 95% out of 100, the other team will win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then India's bowlers had to come good. This is what a good team performance is. That, okay, everyone fights, the bowlers fight, the batters fight, the fielding was very good as well, you know, the way they played. And that's good to see. Okay, let's look at what else do we have. Hang on. We have to talk about this kid, Velalage.
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, 5 wickets against India. He's 20, by the way. He's a 20-year-old.
And he came to the fore in the Under-19 World Cup last year.
Yeah, and he did very well then. And remember, Sri Lanka have a real injury crisis.
Yeah.
And Hasaranga, who is their premier spinner.
Wanindu Hasaranga de Silva.
Who is their premier spinner. Velalage probably wouldn't have gotten this opportunity if it weren't for his injury. So Sri Lanka just keep coming up with these gems, and they have a real ace up their sleeves. And going into the World Cup, remember now, Asian teams, now Pakistan and India, I would say are lucky because they get to face him at the Asia Cup.
Yeah.
Remember, Australia, England and New Zealand have never faced him. So he is a real ace up Sri Lanka.
And Sri Lanka can be the dark horses again.
Hang on, it was 14, that won 13 or 14 in a row.
Yeah, 13 in a row.
13 in a row.
India broke that streak.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at some polls. Okay, Kalaya Tasmenma. I hope I'm getting that right. Not important if India wins the Asia Cup. The World Cup is the real deal. Yes.
Of course.
All 3 of us agree with that 100%.
But to win the war, you also want to win battles.
If you carry the momentum, I think it is going to
Here we go.
help.
Who's going to win the Asia Cup? 84% say
Of course, India. I don't think
5% say Pakistan, Sri Lanka 10.6. As things stand, Sri Lanka Pakistan is a virtual knockout game, right?
Yeah.
Who's going through to face India? On these conditions, Sri Lanka no mug.
Yeah.
But again, their batting has to come good. The batting is suspect.
Yeah.
With Pakistan, the batting, you know, if Pakistan had got the conditions like India did yesterday, they wouldn't have struggled like this.
I think the toss would
Because
be
you know
crucial
why?
in that match.
Because they're accumulators.
Yeah.
Babar and all have no problem. Like the same problem which happened against India. They have no issues when they are setting the pace. They start off, take it slow, and then hit towards the end, right? Then increase your pace. On a wicket like this, that approach helps.
Yeah. Anything before 250, Pakistan can easily chase it with Babar, Rizwan, and that batting line.
Who was India's best player against Sri Lanka? Kuldeep, Ravindra Jadeja, Bumrah, Rohit Sharma.
I think no guesses. The red hot Kuldeep Yadav.
Who's second? Jadeja, Bumrah, Rohit Sharma. This is a poll on our social media handles, and this is what you guys have sent us. I'm not going any random, no random results here. We don't fudge results here.
Right. I think second best, in my opinion, India's second best performer. I would say Rohit's runs were crucial. Half century at the top. I think.
19% agree with you.
Yeah.
And Jadeja and Bumrah 9.5, 9.5. I think we'll be not covering this in full detail if we don't talk about Hardik Pandya. When I was watching the game, he came back, he bowled, 1 over for 3, De Silva and Vellage going great guns, and he finished with 5 overs, 14 and 1 wicket. And he started very gingerly, 120s, 130s. Then he started to really up it.
Yeah.
I think we're not talking enough, but I really think that this IPL and all of it, the Pandya, the bowler,
is
not
back to his best.
No, but I think
yeah,
Pandya,
he's
the bowler,
evolved.
is not, we're not giving him the same amount of respect that we should do to his batting skills. I think he's going to be a game changer for India.
Yeah.
Because even against Pakistan, with the ball, he was getting it to cut across and cut the batsman in half. I mean, to see Babar struggle like that.
And with pace. Unlike Bhuvneshwar Kumar used to bowl at 130, he clocks
Yeah,
140. 140
Yeah.
and then gets to
140 is very few Indian bowlers that regularly clock 140. And he's going to open the bowling for India, right?
Yeah. I think, it was Anil Kumble who was making the point that, because of India's lack of a bowling all-rounder, he was making the point that India had 4 years to cultivate a bowler who could bat. But I think with Hardik Pandya, the way he's performing, do India need one?
I don't think so now.
No.
And then you have Xtra.
Yeah.
You have Xtra now. I'm telling you, I'd go with Xtra any day. I'd have Shardul Thakur any day. Just because he gives you those runs at 8 and 9. Without him, that Indian lineup doesn't. I'm telling you again, 186 all out compared to Sri Lanka 170 for it. They'd still back themselves because then it's a couple of streaky hits.
Yeah.
Bowlers coming down the wicket, you
Edge.
you get away, you try and swing that Chinese cut either down to fine leg or third man, 4 runs. Tend to get pressure on whom?
Yeah.
Pressure does strange things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's.
But India have performed under pressure.
They have performed under pressure. Yes. Okay, let's wrap this up because I have to rush out of here into a long drive. What's coming up at 6:30 p.m. India?
We want to talk about the 150th match between
The old rivalry.
The old rivalry, 150th anniversary of England versus Scotland, and who starred? None other than Real Madrid's new star, Jude
Bellingham.
He is right now. He's one of the best players in the world.
Who's getting the stick? No points for guessing. When it doesn't go your way, it doesn't go your way.
Harry Maguire, another own goal, but
not his fault. No, but that's what Southgate says. If it's not going his way, it seems like the entire world is conspiring against him.
Yeah. And let's be fair, but Southgate keeps picking. He came on as a substitute, by the way. He wasn't part of the starting 11. But, he's someone who's not getting regular football for his club, but gets picked regularly for his country. So Southgate does have a few questions to answer. And remember, England have a few other centre-backs who are available. Yeah. Maguire has done well for England, but options are. Anyway, getting back to Jude Bellingham, I really want to talk about it. His form is absolutely sensational at the moment. Remember, he's scored 5 goals for Real Madrid.
Exactly.
And some of the things that he did, watch the highlights, were just
single-handedly.
Okay, the other story we need to look at is Halep's career over? Simona Halep banned for 4 years for doping. Can I tell you something? She may say and go to CAS against the hearing, but just reading the independent panel's report, irregularities in your biological passport, you can't explain that away.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying she's doped, but there's a contaminated sample, somewhere has happened, but those both things
but
are aligning.
Yeah.
So those two things should never align, taking your banned substance and then your biological passport being
and remember, this
both
is
coming in that window.
Independent panel who had enough evidence because in the first case there were large concentrations of roxadustat, which is a banned substance, and in the second case, and in all three unanimously decided that there was a case of doping. So I mean, she will appeal the ban, but unanimously an independent panel saying that there was massive evidence of doping.
Yes, and some fighting, some boxing, no. The WWE and the UFC have merged. It's created a $21.4 billion giant out there. As things stand, no crossover. Unlike here where the TV guys are here. And so no crossover there. But who knows? In the days going forward, UFC stars, when they're done with the UFC, they can go over to WWE just like Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey and all the rest. Triple H stays on as creative head for the moment for That's the only name I know from that list. You know, my WWE days a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I don't allow my son to watch as well. Because I know.
At your time, it was WWF.
WWF.
Yes. I'm that old. Yes. British Bulldog. Brett Hitman Hart.
Yep.
That era.
Yeah.
Undertaker was still there.
The Rock, Stone Cold
No,
Steve
Rock
Austin.
was later.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No,
was there.
again later. That
Mick Foley.
No, again later.
Which era is this? This was 90s.
Yokozuna.
I remember.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I am old. Okay, on that note, see you then. Hopefully you tune in at 6:30 p.m. IST.